One of the most common requests we get on the show is you guys asking us, how do I prep my car ready for the track and what do I take with me? So today, that is exactly what we're going to show you on this episode of Mighty Car Mods.
Welcome to another episode of Mighty Car Mods. Now, one of the best things about owning a car is the fact that you can participate in motorsport. There's heaps of different kinds. There's track, drags, drifting, the sky is the limit. But one thing that's common between all those different kinds of motorsport is you do need to prep your car.
So there's a bunch of things that you can check before you head to the track, and there's a bunch of things that you can take with you. And today we're going to go through each of the things that we take to the track with us. We're going to tell you why we take it, and then there's going to be a list that you can download with everything you need to know that you can check off when you go to the track. So let's kick into it. But the first thing we're going to look at is your car.
So the first thing you want to look at is your engine bay, where all the fun happens. You need your car to be reliable if you're going to take it to the track. In almost all cases, you are going to be asking more from the car than what it was originally intended for, unless it is a BRZ or an 86, because they were always designed to go to the track. So first thing you want to do is just make sure all your fluid levels are right. Is your car serviced? Is everything up to date? Does it have oil in it? Power steering fluid? Brake fluid, is that fresh? Because you are going to be asking a lot more of that. Do you have coolant? Just check the levels of everything as you would do for a normal major service.
Now, depending on which track you go to as well, one of the things that they check almost all the time is that your battery is tied down. Now, we have seen a lot of drift cars in the past that are just tied down with zip ties. You may or may not get away with that depending on what track you are involved in or what event you're at. So that is something that you need to make sure you check as well.
Most tracks also have scrutineering, and if you see that word, always check and see what the things that they're asking for with scrutineering are, because that's what you have to check off. They might have rules about battery tight ends, they might have rules about what can and can't be leaking out of your car. Normally it's nothing. There's a few things that they will go through and check, and a lot of track days will have people that their job is to make sure that your car is up to spec so that it can be on the track with other cars and not cause any problems.
Like VL Commodores do almost every single time. In our experience when we've been working on our Mighty Car Mods cars, when we take them to the track, the biggest bang for buck that we've got by reducing our lap times is a good set of tyres. On the BRZ, I've got a set of Michelin Pilot Sport 4s. These were supplied by Michelin for our BRZ project. When you kind of spend a little bit more time at the track, you can definitely look at upgrading your rotors, your calipers, changing to a race pad, or even braided lines. But certainly, if it's one of your first track days and you just want to get a quicker time, getting a really good quality tyre is a really great place to start.
Your car is all serviced and sorted and ready for the track, but before you head there, you should always look at wheel alignment. That makes sure that everything is in the right position so the car's not going to be doing anything funny. It'll maximize your grip, and you can customize it depending on what you want from your car.
All right, people, so now it's track day. What are you going to take with you? You've come to the right place. We're going to show you exactly what you need to take with you to the track. So the big day has arrived and you're about to kick off on your first track day. One of the most important things you need to make sure you've got is a basic toolkit so you can fix things when your car breaks, and it may well break. This is just a basic one from Tool Pro. It's got all the different bits and pieces that you'll need to do some basic repairs at the track.
It's also worth thinking about the top sort of 5 tools that you'll go for if you're in your shed or your garage. What's the first couple of tools you go for when something breaks and you need to fix it? Take them, because chances are you're going to need those as well.
You're also going to want to check your fluids throughout the track day as well. I run Castrol Edge in all of our project cars. That's also what is in the BRZ. You can get them in a 1 litre, which is handy size for topping up. Also some coolant, and of course a rag and a funnel to make sure you're filling those up. But speaking of fluids, the most important one is probably your petrol, or in his case, E85.
The last thing you want to do when you're halfway through your track day and having a mad time is have to leave to go and get fuel, because that could be a bit of a drive to get there, particularly if you're running E85 and running a lot of it, or there isn't a service station nearby. It's a good idea to take a jerry can. Usually 20 litres is enough to keep it topped up.
Along with your tools, a really handy little kit is some WD-40, some gaffer tape, also known as duct tape, and some cable ties. With that, you can pretty much fix anything. Doesn't matter if you're on a boat or you're camping or motorbiking or at track days, that's a really handy trio to have. And the other thing is some work gloves, particularly if you're working on an engine that is hot.
Windscreen cleaner, stuff like that is also handy. Some racetracks get a bit glary and the last thing you want to do is not be able to see through your windscreen. Also, good idea to take a rattle gun and some lifting equipment like a jack and jack stands, which are a great idea. You might want to take an extra set of rims with you that have your track tyres on them so you're not burning through your street tyres. If that's the case, then this will make all that a lot easier. Good idea to take a wrench just to check the torque of your wheel nuts as well. And if you're really finicky, a torque wrench, check the manufacturer to see exactly what torque they need to be.
A lot of people that spend time at track days also spend a lot of time trying to get their tyre pressures perfect. And the easiest way of doing that is with something like this Ryobi digital power inflator. This is really small, it's portable, so you can put it in the back of your car or in your track crate really easily. This has got a digital readout that shows you in bar or PSI. And why would you need something like this? Well, if you're doing drag racing or you're doing circuit racing or you're doing drifting, you may be running quite different pressures than what you're running on the street. So that is a really quick and convenient way of changing it on the track, all with a battery. The other thing is, if your car's really low, you may not actually be able to get onto the jack. So we have these little ramps that we made for lowered cars. You can make these with just a couple of dollars worth of wood, lay them on the ground, drive your car up onto it, then you can jack the car up, put your jack stands on, and you are ready to go. One of the most important things that you need to take with you when you're doing your track day to keep your
Fire extinguisher! A fire extinguisher is a really good idea. Mount it inside your car. Make sure you can actually reach it.
That was special.
That's the most important thing. While you're strapped in, make sure you can reach it. A lot of track days and a lot of racetracks, actually, these are mandatory. You have to have one. Has to be in date. They're not very expensive. You can buy it at Supercheap Auto. You can then just make yourself a little bracket. We've done a video on that, which you can click the thing. Really good peace of mind, and not a bad thing to have in your car anyway.
Good. Very good, Martin.
Fire extinguisher! Certain racetracks have rules about recovery. That means they have a vehicle there that can tow you off the track if something goes wrong, if you break down or something explodes.
Let's be honest, if you've got an Evo.
Well, it has happened to me and it wasn't a good day. Either way, you need to be dragged off the track and there needs to be a way for them to attach to your car.
So that means either a tow hook or a hectic tow strap. We have these ones on the Mighty Car Mod shop attached to the front of your car. Bingo. Also, depending on the kind of motorsport, you might actually need a battery isolation switch there, and you can also get sticker kits which show tow points and things like that. You may not need them if it's your first track day, but depending on the kind of driving you're doing, you may, and now you know. Other than all of the equipment for your car, you also need some equipment for your body. See, Martin? For your body. You need some equipment for your body. That is usually enclosed shoes, long pants, and a long sleeve top. It can be just a long sleeve t-shirt like our Mighty Car Mod's driveway mechanic shirt, or it could be a hoodie, and you're also going to need a helmet. Now, open face helmet or closed face helmet, there is a little bit of a question about that. Some people say that closed face helmets are better if you've got a full roll cage and you're in a race car and it's custom made and blah, 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 blah. Other people say an open face helmet is better and gives you better visibility. And then there's questions about airbags, whether you have them or whether you don't. What you actually need is you need your helmet to be in date. Someone might check it, and you need to make sure that the helmet is certified. This here is an open face motorcycle helmet. This here is fine for racing here in Australia, but check with your local rules and regulations.
And don't forget your underpants.
You might need 2 pairs, Martin.
Take an extra pair.
Now you want to take some water with you, make sure you are well hydrated. This is a basic first aid kit. Now, if you have an accident out on the track, they're going to have a rescue team and ambulance that can come out and help you if you really need it. But this is really good if you have an accident while you're fixing your car or one of your mates is. We've got some earplugs, some sunscreen, hand sanitizer, a little torch. A lot of people have these anyway, like on their iPhones, but it's good if you need to get under your car. And of course, snacks. The food at most racetracks, I'm telling you now, is garbage. It's like Dagwood dogs and just grotty stuff. Fill yourself with something excellent, high protein, delicious, or trail mix and things like that. And a mad little chair. Once you start going to a track day, you'll see that people have got camping stuff out the wazoo. They've got little gazebos, they've got little cookers, or you can get a little chair like this. So you can get a camping chair. This here's a little photography chair. That there will make sure you stay hydrated and fueled throughout the day. But then you want to show all your mates how hectically epic your track day was. You're going to need to know a little bit about the technology.
Back in the old days, you used to call your mates on the landline and go, guess what? I did a really sick lap time. These days, nah, you can just send in a video of your lap. Now, cameras and the technology to do that kind of stuff is pretty cheap and affordable these days. Things like a GoPro, really handy if you've got a suction mount. You can stick it to your windscreen and point it that way. You can stick it to your windscreen and point it this way if you just want to look at your face the whole time, or like us, you're talking the whole time. Really, really handy little cameras. Also, drones, which is a great fun, taking these to a racetrack. Check the regulations, some racetracks don't like it, some are cool with it. Get some really cool shots of things happening as well. Mounts for phones. There's also apps, which we'll get into in a minute, that can do your lap times as well as video, and a mount makes that work a lot better. If you're going with your mates as well, radios come in really handy. Some racetracks have crappy mobile reception. Sometimes it's easy just to keep track of what's going on with your friends. And of course, a chop sticker. I don't know why this is technology, but it's sitting here, so I thought I'd show you anyway.
And what does a chop sticker mean? It means that you're winning, and when you stick one of them on the back of your car and you fly past an MX-5 on the racetrack, it's a very good feeling. Not that I'd know about it.
These days, you can get lap timers on your phone. Now, there are hardware versions as well, and some racetracks will actually let you hire one that works with their system. They are by far the most accurate, but you will need to attach it to your car, so that's why you take your race tape and your cable ties and stuff like that.
We had to do that exact thing in Japan with the Super Turbo.
Exactly.
And gaffer tape was required.
Phones have gotten a lot better. The GPSs in these have gotten a lot better. For a long time, these weren't good enough and accurate enough, and now they're getting up there that for your own entertainment purposes, this is really good. There's various different apps you can use. They all work roughly the same way. You can even go through and select which track you're at, which is really cool as well. It'll tell you what your nearby tracks are or whatever. You can choose it, and then it's got like a pre-mapped out map of the actual track, and it can tell you which zones you've hit and your optimal lap times and stuff like that. But essentially, you need a timer that records from point A around the track and back to point A again, and how long it took you to get there.
Now, you can download those for free from the App Store, or some that seem to be a little bit more reliable and stable, you can pay $20 or $30 for it. But definitely, if you're there, just have a good time. You don't need to worry about your lap times, but it can become really educational, particularly when you're changing coilovers, suspension adjustments, sway bars, tires, or you're turbocharging your car, something like that. That can become really useful. So that is all the stuff you need. Actually, the last thing I'm sitting on, and that's going to be your race crate.
Race tub.
So everything goes in there. Stick your name on it, stick your number on it, stick your car rego on it. It's kind of how you reserve your spot, because when you get to the track, everyone's got their spot, and when you go out, if you don't leave some stuff there, someone's going to steal your spot. So here, you put everything in your crate, you take it to the track, and you are all ready, my friends, for your first epic track day. So we hope you enjoyed this video. Any of the things that we mentioned in the video that you can get from our online store is in the description down below, and we'll also link up our fire extinguisher video, because we do have a full how-to of how to do that. We're also going to put down below a downloadable PDF, which is a checklist that you can take with you to the track, print it off, make sure you've got everything you need, and then you can go chop some fool in his STI.
Go have fun, don't be scared. It's an awesome way to learn about driving, to learn about your car, and just have a great day out with your friends.
Now, there is going to be track etiquette. That's a whole other thing that we decided not even get into, because every track is different. Everyone has their rules. For example, some places use indicators. Other people say, if you put your right indicator on, does that mean you're going right, or you're telling someone else to go right? So make sure you go to your driver's briefing. There it is. That's another episode of Mighty Car Mods. Next episode, we're going to be putting all of this into practice, and we're going to be taking the BRZ and the STI to the track to see who is the ultimate victor of the two-door Subaru Nuggets. But until then, I'm cracking some trail mix. Thank you very much, everybody.
You got me.
See you next time.
Roasted munch.
On Mighty Car Mods.
What's roasted munch?
Absolutely. Look at this, mate.
Roasted and munched.
Nibble on my nuts. They're all little and shriveled.
Can I touch them?
Please.